Hello, audioholics. This is Logan, and welcome back to Rolling Drones, the show where we go over the Rolling Stones top 100 metal albums of all time and rank them in our own particular order because we're particular like that. And
Pretentious about that.
Here is Tyler.
What's going on, everybody? So today we have a very, very special little album in the form of Under the Sign of the Black Mark by Bathory.
Yes, and since we already know what you probably think about it, since, it's black metal, I'll go first. So, naturally, I really liked it. I teetered on giving it an A for about a couple days, but ultimately I decided it deserves a high B, mainly because I don't entirely know if I would go about listening to it again, but I could easily see myself listening to this. And, well, let's just get into it. First of all, this is the earliest thing that I can think of that is inarguably black metal. I mean, before this, you had things like Venom, which you could argue is just hardcore punk. And then you had King Diamond, and Merciful Fate, which I don't even know how exactly you argue that's black metal. It sounds nothing like the genre. To me, it just sounds like Judas Priest, but better. It plays a lot with atmosphere, and as a lot of black metal really does. That's something I really like about the genre. It's very atmospheric. And it's able to do a lot with a little. Again, that's why I praise the mixing of a lot of these black metal bands like Dark Throne or Bathory or, things like that. Or even Venom, like old school Venom. It's terrible mixing, but it gives a character, and that's what I like about it. And as you might be able to tell, I'm fairly new to the genre as well, if you haven't seen any of my other videos. But I am more and more starting to really appreciate and even like black metal. The riffs are absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10. Even some really good solos as well. Like, this is kind of, now I say this is inarguably black metal, and it is, but it still takes, I think, a lot of cues from the new wave of British heavy metal. And as a result, you get those kinds of solos, these sort of biddly solos that you don't necessarily get in later black metal, and especially not in death metal. Overall, I think this is a masterpiece album. The score I gave it will doubtlessly improve as I listen to the album more, but as of right now, I'm not 100% sure if I will give this or if I will enjoy this on later listen. I probably will, but I genuinely don't know if I will or not. So I'm giving it a B, a high B, just to be safe. So the best tracks: Massacre, Call from the Grave, Enter the Eternal Fire. I think I'd say Massacre and Enter the Eternal Fire are probably the two best out of those three. Weakest track: Chariots of Fire. This one was honestly just not very good, I didn't think. It was definitely the least inspired out of every song on this album. And it's a shame because it has the exact same namesake as a very good instrumental piece. So I gave it a B. All right, Tyler. How are you going to manage to shit on this one?
I think I'm going to give it an A.
Whoa, stop the presses. Tyler likes a hair metal band, so where would I put them?
Black metal. black metal. Put it above City of Evil.
Above City of Evil. Ladies and gentlemen, we have found the black metal album that Tyler likes.
Yeah, I struggled with putting this one in either A or B as you were talking, but I think it belongs where I put it because I really enjoyed this album, actually. It's heavy, it's intense, it's brutal, and it's 100% classic for a reason. The riffs are, as he said, badass, and they serve the music very well. The vocals are actually up my alley, which is something I don't say about every black metal band. In fact, a lot of black metal bands, the vocals piss me off. But this is one of the few I really enjoy. I also really enjoy the vocals in Mayhem, which is something we'll get to later. But for the time being, this is a great black metal record. This is what I want when I talk about like a good metal album. I also think it's really impressive. Bathory, Logan didn't touch on this, but I did tell him Bathory is essentially a one-man band. Now
Oh
they did
yeah, you're
have
right. I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot
yeah,
to mention that. That is amazing.
they did have like I think like one or two parts in the album that were played by different people, but the vast majority of the parts in this album were played by the main man, which I forget his name right now, but um he played guitar, bass, drums, and he did the vocals. Very, very impressive. And as a result of that, Bathory never really played live. They well, and also like he said he doesn't really believe in live shows. So Bathory is more
Doesn't
than
believe in
the
live
text.
shows. What the fuck? They aren't
Yeah, he
unicorns.
didn't really.
Damn it.
He said like the thing is with a live show, like fans would expect the same quality of music in a live show as
Fair
the
enough.
records, and he said it would just be too much. So
I guess.
he doesn't really like that. He just wants to focus on the studio releases. And you know what? I think that worked. I mean, this is a legendary band in the community. So, you know, essential tracks, Woman of Dark Desires. When this album first started with Massacre, I wasn't immediately sold. I was like, oh, god damn it. It's more fucking Transylvanian hunger shit. But no, no. Woman of Dark Desires, that's when I was sold on this album. And on repeat listens, which I've heard this album again since Logan and I listened to it, I actually really do like Massacre, and the whole album I actually like. Enter the Eternal Fire is another huge standout. 13 Candles. Of course, the ones he said, Call from the Grave, Massacre, which was the first track. My weakest track is gonna be Call from the Grave. And you're thinking, well, didn't you just say it's an essential track? I think there's no bad songs on this album. I think every single song is about the same quality, so I pretty much just threw a dart.
Really? So you put Chariots of Fire on the same level? Like it's not awful, I guess, but it's
It did something different, like something really
in
unique for
mind,
the album. It did something very different with the vocals, and like I liked that about it.
I guess.
But yeah, so I think it belongs in A. The only reason it's not going into S is because I haven't had a whole lot of time to sit on this album. I've only heard it twice. And this is still a genre that I'm very new to, and I don't really enjoy much outside of Bathory and Mayhem and maybe Immortal. I haven't really too much gotten into them, but I do like what I've heard. It seems like a genre that there are certain bands I could get into, but then there are bands that I will just absolutely
Cradle of Filth.
despise. Yeah, I like Cradle of Filth. I like Dimmu Borgir, or however you're supposed to
Cradle of
pronounce
Filth
that.
is. I think Cradle of Filth is going to be the next black metal band. I don't know if we have any of them on.
I don't think Cradle of Filth is on this list.
It is. Oh, then yeah, I'll.
It's not.
Oh, it's not. Oh, that's a shame. Well, I'll have to get into Cradle of Filth at some point. I listened to one of the songs and I really liked the sort of horror theme to it. I like.
Yeah, because like I feel like okay. So just because this has been a short video, I'm going to take a sec to go on a little bit of a rant. When I go into listening to music, I don't go into it wanting to hate it. Why would I ever want to hate my time with something?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like if you're passionate about music, why would you go in expecting to hate something? That's just retarded.
Exactly. So I want to find something in black metal that I can enjoy. I'm a very firm believer that every genre on planet Earth, there's something there for everyone.
Yeah.
It's just they got to get over that mental block in their brains that's keeping them from
Exactly.
being
Like,
able to
I've
enjoy
even,
the music.
to attest to that, I've said before I don't really like death metal, and I still really don't. In a previous video, I said that I am to death metal as Tyler is to black metal. I wouldn't actually go that far. I take that back a little bit because there is some death metal I kind of like, but I'd say like the exception to that rule, I don't kind of like them. I don't hate them. I really, really like them. And Tyler got me into them is Opeth.
Yeah, but with Opeth, only their early albums are death metal. Like their
Yeah.
later albums are not death metal.
Yeah.
But irregardless, we will actually get into a death metal Opeth album on this list, which is at number 55. So we have some time to go.
Yeah.
Personally, I would have placed it a lot higher on the list than that. But, if you take a look at what we have to go for, pretty much the bottom like 20, maybe even going up to 30 are all albums you would expect to be here and ones that you've probably heard before, like Dirt, the Black Album, Danzig, Anima by Tool, Holy Diver, Diary of a Madman, like all those classic albums that you would expect to be here, that they're there. Pretty much all of the more obscure stuff and like stuff him and I probably wouldn't have heard are more in the top like 50. Or I guess bottom 50, like the first 50 albums.
To that point.
I'd say pretty much from 50 on, most of the albums both of us have heard. Like even going as far as like Rising Rainbow, Stained Class. I mean, there are a few in there, like Mayhem or like Exodus.
Yeah, I've
What's
never
another
heard of
one
Exodus.
that we probably wouldn't have
or I've
listened
heard
to?
of them.
Celtic Frost. But for the most part, it's all albums him and I have heard. So we're really, it's going to get really difficult at that point. But anyway, getting off track a little bit. Black metal. I think there's something in there for me, whether it be Emperor or Immortal or maybe even Bathory, maybe like beyond this album. As much as I like this album, there's got to be something there.
Yeah.
And I think the same is true for death metal, even like irregardless of Opeth, because they're prog and whatever, like pure death metal. There's something in there for you. I almost guarantee. You just got to find it.
Yeah.
All right, so that has been little bonus rant in Rolling Drones. Did you guys have fun with this album, Bathory, Under the Sign of the Black Cross? I know I did. I was surprised how much I liked it.
That's why it's not on the list.
Yeah, you're right. We just made it up.
In fact,
all right. So next time,
I'm gonna fix a critical error. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It deserves to be there. No, next time we're listening to Psalm 69, The Way to Succeed and the Way to Suck Eggs.
That is the
by
best
Ministry.
Any album ever.
Well, you'll be disappointed when you learn that they are an industrial metal band, and you'll probably hate it. But
industrial metal. That's you. You're the one.
I don't hate industrial metal. I love Rammstein.
Really Manson.
I mean, I don't like Manson, but I like Rob Zombie. I like Rammstein. I like. I don't know. What are other like big industrial metal bands?
There was that one album that we listened to that was kind of underwhelming on the Audioholics Unite. I can't remember.
Static X?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they'd be industrial metal. I like them though. Fear Factory, I like.
I haven't listened to them.
Skinny Puppy, I forgot about them. Killing Joke, of course.
I've never heard of them.
Strapping Young Lad. Yeah, there's a lot of really good industrial bands I like.
I guess I should say I'm more ignorant of this genre, but I like them. I like what I've heard.
Yeah, so we'll see whether or not we enjoyed Ministry next time. Okay. So, without further ado, we bid you
audio do.
Bye-bye.
See you later.